What is good, America? It's your boy Sherm and Obed, back once again on your TV screen or on your computer screen. Sorry, and bringing you another fantastic episode of What's the Word Entertainment. We're back. We're better than ever. We had a couple weeks off, I believe. Obed, you were away.
I had to chill. Puerto Rico called.
You were in PR. I was over in DR. Actually, I see you got the little tan going on, really fresh. I'm starting to feel a little bit so keeping the hat on today, but dude, I'm looking real dark. I'm almost as dark as you, Obed, but not quite there yet.
Then we gotta go on vacation again.
I know, right, dude? I'm telling you, another week out there, I'll be on your level. I'm not quite there yet. How was your trip? How you feeling, man?
It was fantastic. I don't know if you could just send 12 men to Puerto Rico. We actually stumbled upon a party that was a plate dinner that was like $2,000 a plate. And my man came through and was like, hey, you can't stand there. I was like, this is still America. I can stand here. And then he showed me he has an M16. I said, you know, I'm just going to walk off. I'm going to go this way. I'm just hang out back here.
Got him.
All right.
That's funny. But yeah, I'm glad you had a good time. I know I definitely had a good time as well. Anyway, let's get right into it. I know we've got a lot to talk about today since we've been off the past couple weeks. So want to start off with some college ball a little bit. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament. As of course we both know, Virginia came out victorious over Texas. It's over Texas Tech, 85-77 in the men's tournament championship. It was Virginia's first national title. And then we were kind of talking about this before. You know, how much really did Virginia really deserve this, or whatever? How much really? I kind of felt like they had an easier path to the final.
I would agree.
Than Texas Tech did. I mean, I don't know if you agree on that or not, but
I definitely agreed. Last thing you wanted this team getting embarrassed by a hard 3-shooting UMBC team again.
No, yeah, almost forgot about that. Yeah, from last year, right? I mean, but Texas Tech, I mean, look at they took down Michigan. They took down Gonzaga, number 2 Michigan. They took down number 1 Gonzaga, number 2 Michigan State, and of course number 1 Virginia.
Yeah.
So Texas Tech definitely had a good, solid run. But Virginia, I think had. I mean, if you looking at the seeding from the tournament, they had, of course they were the number 1 seed, so they faced a 16 seed. Number 9, Oklahoma. Number 12, Oregon. Number 3, Purdue. Then number 5, Auburn.
That Purdue game was a battle, too. I think I remember that Purdue game was a battle.
Yeah, that probably was one of the best games of the tournament, Virginia-Purdue. I think Virginia won that one by 5. Not to put anything against any of these other teams, but just, like I said, the level of competition that Texas Tech went against, I think was a little bit higher than Virginia. But, that's what the tournament is, man. You never know. Anyone could come out with a W on any given day. So it only takes us one shot,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and looking at some of the way the games have gone recently, I would say for the tournament this year and maybe last year, you can be sent home on a last-minute shot. It doesn't matter. Whoever's out there, if they came to play their best game that day, they could win. Like Texas Tech was getting blown out in this game against UVA very early in the game, but then ended up pulling it off and coming back. I think it was great shooting. I think it was a great game. Both teams definitely played their behinds off. I think we got a good final that one.
Absolutely. Also over on the women's side, it was Baylor victorious over Notre Dame, 82-81. It's funny. We're so used to seeing the UConn women's team in the title games. They've been in the Final Four now. I think it was 12 straight seasons, I believe it is.
Yep.
At least in the Final Four. But I think the last one in 2016, I believe it was their last title. So now 3 years in a row they haven't won. I guess the dynasty is over. UConn just destroying everyone. They went on an 81 game win streak back in the day. Things like that. So, but congratulations to the women's Baylor basketball team.
Yeah.
Their victory. So, I think that was a good game. That game, like I said, that came down to a 1-point game there. So that was, people were talking about that. That was a great game as well too. Some people may not watch women's college basketball, but that was just a good, solid game. Just to be honest,
I would agree. My understanding is that it's the most, the highest viewership in the last 15 years of the women's tournament. And it was a good tournament. Some people say it's because they were in a different location than before, but I feel like the competitiveness the actual competition was way higher than what I would expect in the past, where it's just like, oh, it's gonna be UConn. UConn's just gonna blow through and do whatever.
Right.
I think that alludes to a question like, is the UConn dynasty over? Have we seen the last of UConn coming out and being a stud out here and just like putting our money on Gino? Gino is giving these post-game interviews now where it's just like he has to, I wouldn't say he's making concessions, but I would say that he has to answer for something that's not used to his norm. He looks like Greg Popovich with the San Antonio Spurs now, who are one up over the Denver Nuggets, but it's like it's not what we're used to. We're used to seeing you in the final. We're used to seeing you play for the big one. Now you're playing for your life to get in the tournament, and then being that team knocking on the door and not getting it. So what do you think? You think the dynasty's over?
I mean, they're still around. Like I said, this is what I think it's 12 straight Final Fours for UConn. They're still going to be relevant. They were a number 2 seed for the first time, I think, they were not a number 1 seed for the first time since 2006, I believe.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're still. I mean, kind of dig a little bit, dude. I mean, I think they're still going to be a force to be reckoned with because Gino Auriemma is still there and at the helm for them. But I mean, just as far as winning championships, I think some guys, some people, or some schools have figured it out. Like, hey, you better do better recruiting. Take a little bit from Gino's playbook a little bit, and get past them. So anyway, moving on. Let's get over into the NBA now. Of course, this past week was Dwayne Wade's final game in the NBA. It was announced earlier in the year that he was, this was going to be his last dance, last ride. Of course, in his last game, he went out with a bang. In his last game against the Nets, he finished with a triple-double at 25, 11, and 10. Now, Wade, of course, the former 5th overall pick in the 2003 draft, that draft was loaded. As you know, LeBron went at number 1, Carmelo at number 3, their friend Chris Bosh at number 4.
Yeah.
So, that draft was absolutely loaded. But Wade is an absolute, hands down, future Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
5 finals appearances, 3 championships. 1 Finals MVP, a 13-time All-Star. I mean, what can we really say more? What more can we say about Dwayne Wade? You know what I mean? That hasn't been said already. He's a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal player. I mean, my question to you, Obed, is where would you put Dwayne Wade against the all-time great shooting guards and then amongst the overall all-time greatest players?
I mean, all-time greatest players, and I don't know if we have talked about this, but I have talked about this with other people. I think maybe like my lunch crew, that when you look at what happened to the Lakers after Kobe left is different than what happened to the Heat after LeBron left and after Chris Bosh left. I see a team that was built around a player who was able to distribute the ball, who was able to make other players around him play better. And when you see a guy like him coming off the bench and saying, hey, I'm going to play whatever minutes you need me for with these new guys, and they're still winning games, I feel like conversely to a Lakers team that doesn't have Kobe and is abysmal at this time when they don't have LeBron or is abysmal, they brought in guys that he felt like he could play with. He felt like he would play with, and I see him barking at guys. I see him coaching on the court as much as anybody else. Best players in the game ever. He's got to be on that list. I mean, at least in the top 20 for what he was able to do. He won championships with.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I mean, as far as shooting guards, I mean, he's probably number 3 behind Jordan and Kobe. Maybe
so?
People say just top 5, but I mean, as far as just straight up shooting guards, I'd say he's in the top 5 all time as far as shooting guards. Like I said, if not maybe number 3 behind Jordan and Kobe. Of all time, though, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. He's the 10th highest scoring NBA player by total career playoff points. He's averaged for his career 22, 5 and 5, or just about. His numbers speak. Like I said, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's one of the greats to ever play it.
Yeah.
He's probably top, like you said. I think maybe
top 20, right? I don't know. I wouldn't say top 10, but
maybe top 25 if you want to really argue. But in top 20, I could see people putting him in the top 20 of all time of NBA players.
It's crazy to think we're having this conversation at our age about these guys who we've watched for so long. That like they need to be added to the canon.
Right.
And what I think about, what happens when does James Harden play shooting guard? Is he a shooting guard for?
Technically, he's listed as a point guard, but he's not a point guard. He was a shooting guard.
Yeah.
They moved him to point guard before they had a Chris Paul because they didn't have a point guard.
Yeah.
But ever since Chris Paul is back, it's funny because he's still labeled as a point guard in in the books, which is just weird. But he's a shooting guard. Let's be honest. He's a shooting.
I would completely agree with you. I agree with you that he is a shooting guard. His job is to come out here and make buckets.
Yes.
Now, when I think about that in relation to who we're looking at currently, if we say that it's Jordan, Kobe, and then Dwayne Wade, what happens when he makes his, when he punches his ticket so that he can become a Hall of Fame shooting guard? He's probably you're telling me Dwayne Wade's at 25, 5 and 5. We have to be like, let's, objectively, do we think somebody like James Harden's going to be at 35, 2 and 2? Could I say that he's one of the best? If your job is to shoot, then you're doing that. But how much you help your team,
Right. I mean, like I said, but just because you can shoot 40, you make 40 points a game is your overall game just as great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Dwayne Wade's overall game is far higher than James Harden's overall game consistently through his career. So I can understand where you're coming from when you say shooting guard at the number 3 spot. I can see that because he made everyone else better around him.
Right. I mean, you may even put Jerry West. I would probably say you put Jerry West up amongst that top 5. Maybe Clyde Drexler, Allen Iverson. But I think Wade
was Allen a shooting guard or a point?
I think technically he was. I think he played point somewhat for them,
but shooting guard numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, he was. But he did play the point for Philly for a while. But even so, I mean, I think about even Tracy McGrady, George Gervin, Ray Allen. So, but I think he's still top 5 anyway, though. But yeah, I think he's still top 5. Also some other retirement news. Dirk Nowitzki officially announced he was going to retire. Throw it up for my man Dirk. He always said, he never said throughout the season, "Oh, this is gonna be my last year." He never came out and said it. So finally, the last Mavs home game, he said it. That was his last home. It was all figured. We all knew it.
Yeah.
The former 9th overall pick in the '98 draft. He was drafted by the Bucks and immediately traded to the Mavs. By the way, that was the same draft when Michael Olowokandi went number 1 to the Clippers, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
Biggest number 1 bust. But Dirk, which I mentioned in a couple episodes before, Dirk, 2 finals appearances, 1 championship, with a finals MVP in 2011, of course, over the Heat, over Dwayne Wade's team. One league MVP in 2007, a 14-time All-Star. Same question. Where does he rank amongst the greatest power forwards or overall players of all time?
So that list is long and continuing to fill in with players. And LeBron is going to shortly add to that list as well. If you look at LeBron as a power forward.
Well, I mean, he's technically a small forward, but he can play the 4. But technically, he's a small forward, I believe. You play the power forward.
Yeah, it's tough because even this year he was hitting buckets left and right. It's like, the 3 balls of the game. That's what we do. I've been out there. I think he was just trying to pad his stats for that record, so he can get that highest score record that he could. But the fact that he was stroking those shots, is a testament to the international reach of the game for a player like him to come out. Where does he rank? Man, I don't know.
I mean, I'm putting him top 10 power forwards of all time.
Think so? I was thinking top 15, top 20, honestly.
Dude, I mean, obviously Tim Duncan's number 1.
Yeah.
You got Karl Malone, Charles Barkley up there. Maybe.
What about Robinson?
David Robinson was a center, I believe.
Really? He played
yeah.
center? Okay.
Yeah. You got KG. You can put in there. Dennis Rodman. I'm definitely putting Nowitzki top 10. Maybe even top 5 power forwards of all time. As far as greatest players of NBA of all time, I would say he's top 50. And maybe,
that's
top 60. It's hard. It's so hard. It's so difficult to, when you're ranking, players, especially, if you come from a generation where you grew up, watching like Kevin McHale and Jerry West and things like that. Because as I mentioned, you know what I mean? And before,
Isaiah Thomas in his prime. Yeah.
So it's always hard to say. But congratulations again to Dwayne. Let's give it up for Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki going out on their retirement last year. So congratulations to them on their incredible careers. Next, I wanted to mention, I don't know if you saw this, but Magic Johnson
It's not funny anymore. It's not funny anymore.
He gave up. He officially said he was stepping down as Lakers president. He just said, like you said, it wasn't fun for him. It was. I think it has to do with him just wanting to talk about whatever he wants, whenever he wants, not be limited about these tampering rules and whatever. I don't. I was gonna say, was he just overwhelmed? Did he just not really want the job? I think he was. He got blinded by all the bright lights and shiny things, or hanging in front of him like a child, you dangling some shiny keys, like, oh look, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that new toy you get on Christmas, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
wait my entire life for this thing that you bought me. I'm gonna have a note thing next year that I wait my entire life for.
Exactly. So I think that's what it was, and he realized, you know what? I don't really want to do this. I mean, the thing is, and Jeannie Buss gave him complete control. He could have traded players. He could have fired the coach. Yeah. He could have do whatever he wanted to.
Based off his name fame.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously he's a Lakers legend, but I don't know. Maybe the pressure. I don't know. You think it was too much pressure dealing with LeBron? Being on. Having to develop. And get a winner. Now. Yeah. I just don't know what it really was. He says it was just. I saw an interview, I don't know if you saw it with him, with ESPN's Rachel Nichols the other day. And he just said, and she's like, "Oh, you look happy." He's like, "Yeah, I'm very happy right now." He's quite content with him stepping down, resigning from Lakers president. He's good. I don't know who they're gonna bring in. I don't know how you feel about it, but
for me, it's a decision. Well, not a decision. It is a question of how much does this player care about the actual game on the business side. Like, players love the game, but they never look at it from a side where, like, I'm not in the game, right? The business side looks at it from, I don't know the game, but I understand the business of it. How do we make it popular? How do we make it good? How do we, and those things are a complete dynamic. We're not, the joy of hanging out in the gym with the boys and shooting around is not what being a general manager or president of a company is, and if you're not signed in for that part of it, and this happens in international rules football all the time. They bring back a veteran from the game who used to play for them, and sometimes it doesn't work out because that individual doesn't have the business acumen for get the best players or find players that mesh, or understand how many picks you have now that you can trade away, or alienating a team because you want to trade those guys when you know that you want this one guy for all of them and they had no idea they were on the trade block. Right. I don't think that stuff was fun for Magic. I think Magic enjoyed being a Laker as a player, but I don't think Magic really enjoyed ever being a executive for the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there, dude. I just don't think it was the same thing. He wanted to be able to talk about other players and congratulate other players and do work in the community, which he says he wants to continue to do. So yeah. I think he said he just wants to be Magic Johnson. That's it. He doesn't, so he wants to do other things.
I respect that.
Yeah, good for him. And other Lake news, they let go of head coach Luke Walton after 3 seasons. He had 2 years left on his contract. Damn. It's always a rough thing, when you let a coach go, but, was it him? Was it not? I don't know.
He don't have players to work with, and he's a young guy. What do you expect? I mean, You can hit me with the nepotism game. Of course he has this job because his father was a very famous Laker, and he was a Laker himself. But he didn't have a lot to work with. So
yeah, dude. Luke Walton, they started off the season, decently well. They were, when before LeBron got hurt with the groin injury, I think they were 4th in the West, and when he came back, they just weren't the same. They finished 37-45 this year. All 3 seasons he's coached, they've been under 500 record. It was but I don't really think you can blame it on Luke Walton, though, dude. I
cannot. I don't. It's the same. He got the Vance Joseph treatment. The Vance Joseph is not the reason that the Denver Broncos were not doing well. I don't think. They don't have the players.
You don't have the players. And everyone thought just because you have LeBron James, you're automatically going to go to the playoffs. I think my boy DB even said it. They're going to go to the deep end of the playoffs. They'll make the Western Conference Finals just for LeBron. Dude, just because you have LeBron, I get it. He's the best player in the game. But you need other pieces to at least contribute, and he wasn't getting the help. They've got too many young guys, and Lonzo, and Ingram, and and Kuzma. It's just, I think LeBron thought it was going to be easier than what he thought it was.
And
Um,
that makes me wonder about he pulled his own Magic Johnson, thinking it was going to be easier than it actually was.
Very
So
good point. Very good point. What's going to happen with the Lakers in the offseason? Are they going to continue to go? Are they going to go after AD? What's going to happen? I think they need to go after Kemba Walker hard, because he's an unrestricted free agent.
yeah.
Maybe even go after Klay Thompson. But Boogie Cousins was on a 1-year deal as well with the Warriors. But
They could revamp this entire team. It could be the Lake Show all over again. It's just depending on who's at the helm making these decisions. I don't know if somebody's thinking about Kemba Walker. If you tweet them at their Twitter handle, I'm sure somebody will slide that over and be like, "Oh man, this is a great idea." But you need to. We talked about this in the past. These teams are made up of guys who are fantastic players who are kind of under the radar. Kemba Walker, fantastic player, under the radar. He could sign a huge contract and people are like, "Oh man, Kemba Walker moved to da 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 da." If Kemba Walker moved to the Lakers, people would be like, It would be a move you would have to think about and respect. But are they thinking that? What we've seen from the Lakers recently, they're not on that tier of like we're trying to get better. They're not doing Denver Nuggets thing, bring in Jokic, do these things. They're not thinking like Dallas Mavericks level. Bring in these players, make these trades, bring in Kristaps Porzingis, right? Like long term, you got LeBron, right? They're in that mindset. We got LeBron. So what?
Yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, they need more than just LeBron. But are they going to go after AD is the big question. And speaking of AD, I don't know if you saw in his last game, he wore a shirt that said "That's all, folks." Yeah, similar to the Looney Tunes cartoon back in the day. I think he's done.
Yeah.
I think he's done in New Orleans. It's not really a good look, by the way, wearing the shirt. I don't think at this point. I just don't think he cares. He's trying to show like, "Yo, f these guys. I'm done. I'm out. Peace." But what does it say to his players on that team? Like, dude, are you just gonna abandon us? All right, kick. They're probably like at this point. They're probably telling me, "Yo, kick rocks, dude. I'm out. Be out, dude." You know what I mean? So
that's always a tough place to be in. Like, well, you know what? I don't particularly fuck with this team. Pardon my French. I don't really mess with this team anymore. And they have gone to their levels of pettiness in our contract negotiations and all that stuff that like, all right, it's not me against you guys as my teammates. It's about the organization. But the teammates are connected to the organization. They don't have the opportunity to be like the number 1 draft pick, big guy who LeBron is expecting to be on his team kind of person. So.
Yeah. Moving on, let's go into some of the playoff matchups here. Let's begin with the Eastern Conferences. The NBA playoffs did start yesterday on Saturday. So we had first game I think yesterday was the number 6 seed Nets versus the number 3 seeded Philadelphia 76ers. Nets won that game 111-102, which is surprising. It was in Philly. I was not expecting the Nets to come out looking as good as they did. I think at one point they were up by 17 at one point. The Nets got it to within 2. I mean, the Sixers got it within 2, and then they lost it again. Yeah, the Nets were balling, dude. I was quite shocked at watching that game yesterday. I just Jimmy Butler did go off. I think he had like 30 something. He had 36 points.
I'm not surprised.
Embiid had 22 and 15. Not much help from the bench, but a great all-around game for the Brooklyn Nets. D'Angelo Russell, he had 26. Harris had 13. Carroll had 11. Dinwiddie off the bench had 18. LeVert off the bench had 23. So I was very shocked that the Nets pulled this one out. I'm still going to go with my pick. I'm still picking the Sixers to win the series. I think they're going to rattle off 4 in a row.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Just my opinion, and I think they'll get back on it. I'm not sure how you feel about it or what your take is on this new look Brooklyn Nets team, but
I got some hot takes, bro. Like I think I could see them winning. I don't know about rattle off 4. I could see them winning. The 76ers just need another year to mesh. I think they looked almost too James Harden Rockets-ish, right? Your work is coming from that one guy. And on a 102 and 30 and a greater than third of your points came from, Butler. I know that's a good team. They have years of experience built up to this point, but playoff basketball is another, and this will come in later when I talk about the San Antonio Spurs, because I feel like the San Antonio Spurs could go hit that at 4. I know it sounds crazy, but I would agree with you. I think the Nets show that like we're ready to go. Russell looks good. Well,
Yeah, dude.
good. You know what I mean? Like,
First time All-Star, yeah. Former number 2 overall pick by the Lakers. He's doing. D'Angelo Russell, I think he's proving some people wrong here.
yeah, I would agree.
I think they need to obviously they need more pieces to really win. I think they're going to try to sign a max player this offseason.
Yeah.
I think they got room. They definitely have room for one, maybe even two. But I think the thing is, the marquee team in New York is the Knicks, of course, in Madison Square Garden. But do players want to be in Brooklyn? Who knows? I think they should look at it. It's a good look.
Yeah.
Another matchup: number 7 Magic against the number 2 Raptors. Magic get another upset victory there. They came out with that victory, 104-101. I'm still gonna pick Toronto to win this series.
Okay. Yeah, you can't bet on Kawhi Leonard. It's tough to say, hey, he's not gonna pull this out, but.
Right. I mean, the Magic had a good performance from their player. Aaron Gordon had a double-double. He had 10 and 10. Yeah. DJ Augustine had 25. But as you mentioned, Leonard, he had what, 25 points. 6 boards, 3 assists. Lowry. Here's the thing, Kyle Lowry, donut, 0 for 7 from the field, including 0 for 6 from 3-point range and 0 for 2 from the free throw line. You need your top players to contribute.
You can't. That's not acceptable. It's unacceptable. You can't come out and pull some numbers like that because that's just you're hurting the team. We could have won this game easily if you'd done something.
Yeah, they only lost by 3. He has, make a couple of those free throws. Who knows?
15 points. And he averaged 15 points, and it's a game. You're done.
Yeah, he's an all-star. He's that team leader. He's been there forever. Yeah. I can't believe he just put up a donut like that doing nothing. Van Fleet off the bench. Van Vliet off the bench at 14. And this Larry had nothing. So but I don't think that'll continue. Again, I think the Raptors will pull out the victory in this series. I don't know who I'm guessing you're taking the Raptors as well to win this series.
Man, I do. I want to feel like Kawhi's not going to come out here and just get blown out like that by the Nets. I feel like he should be able to bang with them. I'll go Raptors.
Yeah, over the Magic. Okay. Also in the East, I don't know if you saw today's game, the Celtics defeated the Indiana Pacers. Celtics won that game 84-74. The Pacers don't have Victor Oladipo. I think this is a wash. I think the Celtics will actually sweep this series.
I would agree with you on that one. I think they're going to sweep.
Yeah, I mean,
they can win this game easily. Indiana just can't keep up.
Yeah, without Oladipo, I don't think the Pacers can really keep up with Boston. So, I mean, Boston, I think it's a foregone conclusion that they'll be in the second round. A matchup that's actually, I believe, going on right now is the number 8 Pistons against the number 1 Milwaukee Bucks. Going to take the Bucks, of course.
Yeah, I'm calling can't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
that Greek freak. They call me Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, all day. Yeah. Let them know. Greek freak. Yeah, the best record in the NBA. You have a possible MVP winner in Antetokounmpo. Yeah, Bucks in 4. I'm going with that one.
I agree with that one.
Yeah. Moving on to the West. The only home team not the second home team, the first home team to win yesterday was the Warriors. They defeated the Clippers, 121-104.
Hilarious game.
Warriors doing Warriors things. I'm gonna say this is a sweep as well. Curry had 38 and 15 boards. Surprisingly, led the team in rebounds. Thought that was interesting. 38 and 15. Durant had 23. Draymond showed up, 17 points, and more than his usual, averaging 4 for the season or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah.
Clay had 12, Boogie had 9. So
they played a very balanced game, knowing that they didn't need to do too much to get this W.
Yeah. I think this is a no-brainer as well. Too. Warriors will win this series. I'm saying it's a clean sweep for the Warriors. Next matchup, you mentioned it briefly before. Spurs beat the Nuggets. 101-96. Now the Nuggets, they're surprisingly the number 2 seed this year. They surprised a lot of people, moving that high. But Nikola Jokic, he's a heck of a player. He's an all-star. He had a triple-double. He had 10, 14, and 14. So good for him. But
he's like their Dirk.
Yeah. But here's the thing, dude. And I'm gonna say it, and I don't know if you agree. I think I said it once before. But the Spurs are the Patriots of the NBA.
I agree.
They have phenomenal coaching, one of the best coaches in the game.
Yeah.
And they're always consistent. They've been in the playoffs, I believe, for 20 straight seasons or 21 straight years in the playoffs.
This is the edge I think will give them against a young team like the Nuggets. The Nuggets are good, but the Nuggets are young.
Exactly, and that experience does play a hand in it, with LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan leading the way. I can see the Spurs actually, the number seven Spurs upsetting the number 2 Denver Nuggets in this series. I think it may go 6 for that to happen.
Yeah.
But maybe even 7. But I can actually see the Spurs coming out with this victory. The Spurs are better than what their seed dictates.
Yes.
And like you said, the Nuggets are very young, which means they're inexperienced. Like I said, the Spurs are the Patriots of the NBA, and like the Patriots are the Spurs of the NFL. They're always consistent, great coaching. They don't win a championship every single year, but they're always in the mix.
Yes, in the conversation. Keep yourself in the conversation. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other matchup that actually happened today, just a few hours ago, the Blazers defeated the Thunder 104-99.
I'm kind of surprised by that, honestly. I don't know where that game was played, but
it was in Portland. So
that makes sense then. I was concerned. I was like, what is happening on Mr. Triple Double over here?
Yeah. Russ, I think, excuse me here, I'm gonna, man, I really want to pick the Thunder.
Yeah.
I really do. I just don't know what really is going to happen. Like you said, with Mr. Triple Double over here,
Westbrook. He's not getting any help.
Yeah, he did
have
have
24. Paul George had 26. Yeah, Russell Westbrook had a triple double.
Yeah, I was going to say he did have a triple double, 24, 10, and 10. Yeah. But I'm very surprised that the Blazers, are consistently that median or average team. And I think they will continue to be unless they get more help, because I don't think Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum can do it themselves. Ever since, LaMarcus Aldridge left, I felt like that was their downfall, letting him go to the Spurs.
They had a big 3.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly my point where I was going. They had a big 3 there. But Lillard went off today. He had 30. Enes Kanter had 20 and 18. CJ McCollum had 24, but even on the Thunder side, Paul George had 26. Steven Adams had 17 and 9. I still want to pick the Thunder, I do. I just really don't believe in the Blazers, depth. Yeah. I'm very surprised they got this victory. I mean, I was just surprised. Like I said, it was in Portland, as we said. I mean, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Thunder. I'm saying Thunder wins this series.
I'm with Thunder. I have to put my chips on the team that's been here before, played all the way to the final, right? It's I don't believe that. I don't think Russell Westbrook is going to let us down. I don't think Russell Westbrook is going to let everyone down and let the Portland Trailblazers move on to the next round.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Portland Trailblazers in this one. And the last matchup that's going to be happening later tonight, I believe, is the number 5 Utah Jazz against the number 4 Houston Rockets. I'm going to go Rockets all the way in this one.
Rockets all the way.
Probably Rocket. I'm going to say Rockets in 5. If it's not a sweep, I'm going to say Rockets in 5.
I would agree with that. If not a sweep, because I can see the sweep.
Yeah, definitely on that one. Anyway, let's move on from the NBA. Oh, also want to breaking news. My man El Tigre, Tiger Woods, has officially won the Masters. Give it up, my man. Tiger is back. Woo! Let's go. El Tigre.
Tiger Woods, y'all. It's all good, y'all.
Yo, Tiger's back, baby. He wins his first Masters since 2005. Congratulations to Tiger Woods on a phenomenal victory.
15 years later, you won the Masters? Wow.
Dude, it's been a long time coming, dude.
Right.
Been a long time coming. So congratulations to Tiger Woods on his Masters victory. Anyway, moving on. As I said, wanted to get into some NFL news here. I have a few things to talk about here. I know we've been talking about NFL for a while now. I think it stops, but gonna go back and talk about your boy AB, Antonio Brown, once again, still throwing some jabs at my man Juju Smith-Schuster.
My sweet brother Noopsy.
What's up with AB?
I don't know. So the Steelers go ahead and say and decide who their MVPs for the year were. They decided that their MVP on the team for the year was Juju. AB had to make a comment about this individual not playing certain games or dropping the ball in a game, which is just shade for no reason. Yeah, just shade for no reason. And it's
dude, you're gone from the team. Why are you still talking? You're gone.
Why do you care? But this is where the Steelers are at now, and this opens up the question of, okay, so the The Ravens have a young quarterback and are trying to figure things out. Need to revamp their wide receiver core. They're turning into a run first team. I don't know if this run first team is going to get it done. You're not the Seahawks. The Seahawks find a way. Great throwing from their quarterback. If they can get great throwing from Lamar Jackson, then maybe that could happen. The Steelers have more social media millennial drama than any team I've ever seen. You guys look like high schoolers discussing nonsense. What is going on right now? And this entire thing, what's his name? Mike Tomlin is coaching for his job because this is the last year of his contract, and he doesn't have AB or Le'Veon Bell to do that.
Yeah,
have fun.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think Ben might be done after this year, yo.
I would agree. Who's he playing with? Nobody's gonna listen to his idea of what it takes to be a champion if they're losing a whole bunch of games.
Yeah, facts.
Bengals, right?
Facts.
The Bengals then hire a nobody. I think he had what's his name, Sean McVay in his Rolodex is the reason why they hired him. He might not even have been on one of the staffs, but I could imagine the Cincinnati Bengals not doing anything. Is this the season that the Browns take the NFC North?
I said it before, and I'll say it again. The Browns will win the AFC North in 2019.
Damn.
Put it on it right now. I'm telling you, Baker Mayfield is going to go off this season with Odell on one side. He will go off, and especially, like I said, and remember, Kareem Hunt, we said, is only going to be out for 8
games. Not even talking about Kareem Hunt yet.
Dude,
right? Yeah.
Browns are on. They won't do much in the playoffs. Yeah. They'll get in.
Okay.
They won't do what? They'll get it. But the Browns are on the come up.
There are Denver Nuggets of the NFL.
There you go. Moving on, your Patriots, they re-signed their kicker Steven Gostkowski, 2 years, $8.5 million. Great kicker, good for him. Yeah. But they did lose wide receiver Chris Hogan to the Panthers. Dude, I mean, Brady needs some help, don't you think?
I would agree. Brady needs some help. He looks like he's losing his All-Pro, All-World tight end in Rob Gronkowski. He has lost Chris Hogan. Yeah, who wasn't even really a part of the win that they had, but was a person you had to game plan for as a defensive coordinator. Their wide receiver depth chart right now looks at Julian Edelman, who's 32, going on 33, Philip Dorsett, who's always been middling, Maurice Harris, who's a nobody, and Braxton Berrios, who's a nobody. I wonder if,
you gotta get him some weapons.
Got to get them some weapons, right? They failed in trading for Odell Beckham Jr. They failed in trading for AB. Do they look in the draft? I don't think a DJ Metcalf works for them. I think they need somebody who is a tactician who understands the game. They like guys who are very smart. I don't know DJ Metcalf's IQ as far as football, but and we'll talk about football IQ later when we get to talk about the Packers. I'm not 100% certain what the next move is. They need guys who can either maximize what Tom Brady's giving you now or be a bridge that can grow with whoever the next guy is that you bring in, because you're going to need a new signal caller.
Absolutely. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think he's going to definitely surely need some help, dude. I just don't get why, like, they gotta bring in something, dude. They gotta do something quick to get him.
Maybe Flash Gordon's coming back, right? Maybe he's actually gonna get his reinstatement. We'll see.
Hopefully, because if you bring Josh Gordon back, that'll definitely help them quite a bit. Moving on, let's get into our usual divisional roundtable now. We're gonna start with it. We're gonna do this week is the NFC North. We're gonna start that off with the division champs.
Bears.
The Bears.
Bears.
Well done. We went 12-4, won the NFC North, powered by that defense. Loaded, of course, with Khalil Mack leading the way. Danny Trevathan.
From like 20th to 1st, that easy. Just add Khalil Mack. That's the secret sauce you to pour on
that's
there.
That's a bad boy. That's a bad man.
Yes, sir.
So, but here's the thing, dude. They don't have many draft picks. They don't have a first, obviously, because with the Khalil Mack trade. They don't have a second, and they don't have a sixth as well because of the Khalil Mack trade. Yeah. So their draft picks are somewhat limited. They don't have, like I said, they don't have a pick to the third round, I believe. Yeah. So, but they did sign safety HaHa Clinton Dix. And
maybe helps in the division because he's got all the information on the Packers.
Yeah, but he was split. Remember, he split time last year with the Packers, and then when he finished the year with the Redskins,
Yeah.
They got wide receiver Cordell Patterson.
I don't understand that at all. He's a special teamer that you can sprinkle on things. What are you talking about? Wide receiver.
I mean, maybe it's for gimmick plays, things like that. For me, like maybe put him like at a
spending money on gimmicks now.
Yeah, maybe at a scat back position. I'm not sure. Allen Robinson needs to step up.
He does. I agree. Came over from the Jaguars. Better than that.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. I mean, can the Bears really win long term with Mitchell Trubisky?
You talked about this in the past. You like his progression, but you don't feel like he's that go-to guy. And, yes, he's got the legs, but he looks like, to me, Mitch Trubisky looks like Blake Bortles with a better arm. Blake Bortles always leveraged that he had some legs, he could run around, but when you gave him guys, he could make some plays, and then when he didn't have guys, what are you going to do? You're talking about Mitch Trubisky taking this offense, and you think he's going to make Cordell Patterson better. Because Cordell Patterson is not the level of player that I think you would bring into the fold when you're getting rid of Jordan Howard. You're putting more on Tariq Cohen's plate. You want to run some like Patrick Mahomes type stuff. How did Cordell Patterson work in the Chiefs offense as it is right now? He's definitely not Sammy Watkins. He's definitely not Kelvin Benjamin. Those guys have hands. It's I don't know. I don't think Mitch Trubisky can, but we'll discuss about that later.
Yeah, and then as far as their needs, I think the biggest thing is protecting him. Maybe in the draft they may go O-line, and they may as well go wide receiver in the draft as well too.
Absolutely.
I think they're set on the defense. I mean, like I said, they're one of the best in the game now. So as far as that, I think they're good, but I think they're gonna go with an O-line and wide receiver. I mean, of course, they'll throw in some other pieces, but I think they'll go O-line wide receiver. Next up, sorry, did you want to say something about the Bears again?
It's funny you mentioned protecting him because whatever, I don't know which long it is that plays for the Chicago Bears now, but he was quoted as rated as one of the most overrated players in the NFL. And his response on Twitter was, "Shout out to my agent." So I think I agree. He got his money. He got what he needed. But if you think that they need more protection, I would agree it's either the draft or pay big money to bring somebody in.
Yeah, and I think defensively they're good, so I think they're gonna bring some guys in the draft to protect Mitchell Trubisky. Anyway, moving on with the next up in the AFC North, the Detroit Lions or the Detroit Patriots. We're gonna start to call them these days. They finished 6-10 last year. Of course, Matt Patricia's first year as head coach. They signed former pass receiver again, Danny Amendola, which we might have mentioned before. Defensive end Trey Flowers.
Yeah.
They also recently got running back C.J. Anderson.
Why C.J. Anderson? Why?
Dude, I don't know. Go ask them that question, dude. I mean, I don't know where the lines are really going. As far as the running back position, they got Kerryon Johnson. So maybe just want a backup for him. Receiving core, Amendola, okay pickup. Kenny, I know you like Kenny Galladay.
I love me some Babytron.
Yeah, Jesse James, I think, is a good pickup at the tight end spot, but
they need that height. They have height going on across their entire their receiving core when you got Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones Jr. and now Jesse James. It's just the tree stalks running around. I am Groot.
Right? But here's my question, though, dude. How long before Matthew Stafford is really on his way out of Detroit?
That's a good question. I mean, and there's a lot of signal callers at their draft positions this year that they could go for that are not, just a gunslinger, doesn't make a decision. Like, there was some stat about how many top or winning team games Matthew Stafford has not won in. I will find it. I'll give back to you later, America. But he just does not win against winning teams. He beats up on the bad teams, but then you expect him to do well in a playoff game, and he falls flat for you. Mm-hmm. That can only happen for so long when Detroit seems to be on the come up. They've got a coach that can do things for him that the Patriots had. They have the defense coming around for it. The division seems to be wide open against their counterpart in Michigan, in the Wisconsin Packers, who just don't have their act together. Detroit Lions could make a step forward. I just don't know if they've got the stuff for it.
Yeah, I just don't think, and defensively too, they've never really been in a stout defensive team as of late. So I just think that's one of the things they need to work on in the draft.
Yeah.
I think for me, cornerback, safety,
Yeah.
and maybe even receiver as well too to get
Oh,
some.
I would agree. I don't think they have a lot of receivers they pick up over the years, and they are a team known for bringing up receivers. Those guys don't look like quality. Jake Kumaro doesn't look like quality. Who's the Scantling, Marquez, Valdez, Scantling doesn't look like it. Equanimous Swaite Brown, he doesn't look like it either. So yeah, I agree with you.
I think the Lions. I think they need a lot of work. I think they're just going to be that mediocre mid 500 team or below 500 team each year. Maybe they'll finish 7-9 next season, But I don't think they expect it. But dude, I mean Stafford, he's a great quarterback.
He is.
I think honestly,
He's a top tier quarterback. He's a top tier quarterback. If he's going to be great, he needs to win a playoff game and get into the NFC Championship game.
I think he needs to move on. I'm just saying. I think he might need it. It might be time for him to move on pretty soon.
Backup quarterback Matthew Stafford? Is that what we're talking about? Or
no. Just go to a new team for a fresh start with a better roster. To be honest, I just think of what he needs to do. Anyway, next up, the Packers. As of late, they just recently signed safety Adrian Amos from the Bears. They went 6-9-1 last year. Let's just call it 6-10. That don't count.
It's all 6-10. Yeah, it's all 6-10. That's
yeah. Yeah. Dude, I don't know what to say about them. Obviously let Mike McCarthy go. Why are they not bringing in more elite weapons for Aaron Rodgers? Please answer me that question, dude. Because I don't know. I don't know why not. Aaron Rodgers is arguably one of the top 3 quarterbacks, if not top 2 quarterbacks in football. You got to get him some weapons. He can't do it all himself. I mean, you got Devontae Adams. Don't get me wrong, phenomenal Pro Bowl wide receiver.
Yeah.
He needs more. And where the hell is Jimmy Graham of the old Jimmy Graham been? He's done nothing.
Jimmy Graham is I think he has aged out. I think he can give you jump balls, but I don't think he's that guy, or at least you're not moving. If he can't make the plays that you're writing up for him, it's just not happening. It's funny. So this article came out by Tyler Dunn from the Bleacher Report talking about the McCarthy and Rodgers relationship. And let's look at the tail end of the relationship here, that they lost the divisional round in the playoffs at a 10-6 record. They lost the conference round at a 10-6 record in the division, 7-9, 6-9-1. I feel like there was a slow deterioration from their Super Bowl season in 2010 that was highlighted by the way that Aaron Rodgers approaches interacting with his coach, interacting with his players, and what some of the the kind of things Jermichael Finley said, the kind of things that Greg Jennings said, the kind of things that Ryan Grant, the running back, said. I think they will only go as far as they allow Aaron Rodgers to decide, I want to be a consummate professional. These are kind of stories that I do not think will ever come out for Tom Brady. I don't think we'll ever hear about stuff like this. We'll hear about a fractured relationship with him, Bill Belichick, but he made it work. They definitely are not bringing him weapons. Is that because Aaron Rodgers doesn't want those weapons? Is that because, I'm sure they're asking him.
I can't imagine why he wouldn't want. I mean, to be honest, I think they should have went full force after Antonio Brown.
I would agree.
That was the guy that they should have went after him all the way. Because imagine putting him with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown and Aaron. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The best matchup in the game. That would have been the best combo of the game.
Who do you cover? Because Devontae Adams needs double coverage. He's too young to not. And Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver rating-wise to play the game since 2010. That is 9 years of dominance. He deserved double coverage.
They should have went after AB full force. Yeah. There's no reason they couldn't have gotten him, because they had a first-round pick to give. They could have given up another fourth-round pick. Yeah. I mean, the Raiders got him for nothing.
For nothing. Listen, you look at the Packers. They said, "Oh, we got a McVay guy. We're good." I think that there was a blurb that came from Sean Payton. They interviewed him. I think ESPN Films or NFL Films interviewed him, and it's like, "What do you think about all the youthful hires?" And they were just like, "Oh, I feel like there have been a lot of mistakes made in hiring these young coaches, and we look forward to playing those teams this year.
Right.
And that's not disrespect. It's just he's like, you guys don't have the mustard. If we know that Aaron Rodgers had no respect for a coach who had coached through the ranks, what is he going to do for a guy who is a nobody, who just worked on a staff? And mind you, the Titans were a 22 ranked offense. That's third tier of the NFL. What is a third tier offensive coordinator going to do with first team level players? I want to see it.
Right.
No respect for McCarthy. Is he about to have respect for LaFleur? We'll see.
Yeah, right, exactly. So who knows what's going to happen there? But I think they've got to do something, because Aaron Rodgers is not going to take this lightly. He's not going to be happy if they don't.
Don't waste my prime. Don't waste my prime because you don't have your act together.
Exactly, though. He's not going to be happy if they continue the way they're doing. Anyway, moving on quickly, let's go on to the Minnesota Vikings. They finished the year 8-7-1. They recently just extended wide receiver Adam Thielen 4 years, $64 million. Pay that man one of the best pair of hands in the game, one of the best pair of hands in the game. Phenomenal player, undrafted guy, from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Don't you know? Give me those dollar bills.
Dude, he's been putting up some numbers.
Yeah.
He's a fantasy stud.
8 straight 100-yard games. I think he had 14 touchdowns. Woo!
Dude,
that was good. That was good.
That boy good. That boy
good.
Yeah, exactly. So, dude, I mean, him and Stephon Diggs there is definitely a problem. Dalvin Cook, is he going to be really healthy, next season?
And without Latavius Murray backing him up as well. I mean, I know, they need somebody to take that extra work off of him.
Right. That's the thing, So what's going to happen there? But my question really is, can fans really believe that Kirk Cousins can take Minnesota where they want to go? I don't know.
I don't know. Kirk Cousins is a great businessman. He made millions of dollars, in the NFL over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Does his winning percentage reflect the amount of money invested in Kirk Cousins? Absolutely not. Yeah. So, he went to a team that was 13-3. You're telling me for an improvement at the quarterback position, you're expecting 16-0? He's no Tom Brady.
Yeah, dude. And then they recently just traded for backup quarterback Trevor Siemian with Denver. So they don't really. If you bring in a quarterback just like that quickly, you're trading for one. That means they're kind of like, I don't know.
We could have drafted somebody. We could have drafted and had a person holding the clipboard behind you who wouldn't expect to play someday.
Exactly. And you're paying Simeon higher. They could have drafted somebody in the 6th, 7th round. Exactly. So I remember Kirk Cousins' contract is fully guaranteed.
Fully. That $84 million is paid. So he either plays and succeeds, or he plays and he sucks. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, man. I think they got, as far as draft needs are concerned, I think they're going to start with the O-line.
Yeah.
Then they get to the defensive line, and the linebacker spot. But if Dalvin Cook is healthy, you protect Kirk Cousins, I think he'll do well. But where's the defense where they, we said where they were when they went 13-3 2 seasons ago in the NFC Championship game? They were one of the best defense in the league that year.
They were. It's you're very interesting that you bring that up. That defense was a big thing for them. I think one of the issues that they dealt with was the safety position, and I can't remember his name, the safety that currently, Andrew Sendejo. Andrew Sendejo got injured in the NFC Championship game, and I think that opened up the doors for the Eagles to beat them. Andrew Sendejo now plays for the Eagles on a 1-year, $1.3 million contract. Now, the safety position is the end of the defense, right? This individual is surveying everything, and he's your last line of defense. I like Andrew Sendejo as my last line of defense. Apparently, the Vikings did not.
But don't forget, the Vikings still do have Pro Bowler Harrison Smith is one of the best in the game.
And Xavier Rhodes out there on the corner for them as well. So it's not like outside you're worried about.
They still got a Dean Everson Griffin. Yeah. They re-signed Anthony Barr. He was going to go to the Jets, I believe.
I saw that. He was teasing the Jets. Yeah.
Decided to stay in Minnesota. So they've got some good pieces there. So maybe it was just the schemes they were running
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised that the defense didn't do as well last season.
Yeah.
But I think the Vikings, I think they'll be all right. Like I said, they make sure they protect Kirk Cousins, maybe get another piece on the defensive side, maybe that D line. And I think they'll be okay, dude. I think the Vikings will be okay. But like I said, I don't think they're defensively with the Bears.
Yeah.
They're not on that level, but
Yeah.
they'll be all right. So, but as long as Mitchell Trubisky, can continue playing well for them, I think it's going to be the Bears and the Vikings battling it out for that division title.
I don't think the Packers are in play for the championship of this division. So I have a question. So in thinking about the Bears and the Vikings going at it, do you feel like we have seen the last of this division being run by the Packers, in the sense that this next year could the Bears take a step back? Yeah, they won the division, but the Vikings are there, and we know the Vikings have the players to do so. I find the NFC North to be very competitive. I think the Lions are not going to be in it, but have we seen the last of the Packers? Is this time for the Packers to fall away?
I think, dude, unless they bring in some elite talent for Aaron Rodgers, like I said before, and then revamp that defense, I think it might be. Aaron Rodgers is still going to do Aaron Rodgers things, and put up Aaron Rodgers numbers.
Yeah.
But I think this may be, I don't think he's going to leave. Obviously, he got that huge contract earlier last year.
Big money. Yes.
Yeah, $100 million deal. So he'll be around. But I think you're right. I think the Packers are done. I think the Packers are done. It's going to be the Bears and Vikings for a while.
Right. Let's enjoy this ride while it happens.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, that's going to do it for our time today, folks. We appreciate you joining in as always. Last words going out this week. Tonight is the night, April 14th. Game of Thrones is officially back, people. Wait for 2 years now for the final season to come back.
I'm ready.
I am ready for Game of Thrones to be back on. It's funny because I wasn't always a big Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah.
I got into it late, people keep telling me, "Oh, watch it." It was on like season 3 of RR. I was like, "Oh, fine." Of course, I had to start from the beginning.
Because my arm.
Yeah, I had to start from the beginning. So I watched the first episode. I was like, "Yeah, it's all right." Watched the second episode. Not really, a medieval times kind of guy, But then I just kind of got hooked. Been in on it everything. Been in it. My girl Khaleesi's doing her thing. Cersei's up in there, So I'm definitely excited to see what's gonna happen when my man Jon Snow.
Let's go. Once let's go, baby.
So I'm definitely amped up for that. Yeah. But anyway, sir, it was good seeing you as always, my friend. Until next time, deuces. Peace out.
Make sure to subscribe and like. What's the word? Entertainment. We want to see you. We want to subscribe for you. Let's go.
Absolutely, man. Thank you once again, Obed. I'll see you next time, dude.
All right. Take care, brother.
Peace.